Snow clung to the pines as Ezra Blackwood pulled up to the gate of his mountain cabin, the only home left that still held her memory. But the gate was chained, a thick steel link, cold and unyielding, wrapped around the iron bars. And on it, a red tag flapped in the wind. Access suspended. Violation notice 714, Lakeview Ridge, HOA. Ezra stepped out, boots crunching on frost. His hands tightened. This wasn't just a gate. It was the last gift from his grandfather. The place where he and Clara had spent every summer. The only peace he had left. He called the HOA. No answer. Posted a video, removed within hours. But what they didn't know, what no one in the association had ever checked, was that while they controlled the roads, Ezra held the deed to the only bridge connecting their entire community to the mainland, and when he uncovered Victoria's secret, $3.2 million siphoned from resident fees, he wouldn't just open the gate. He'd shut down the entire HOA. This wasn't trespassing, it was justice. Ezra Blackwood wasn't escaping life. He was returning to it. After losing Clara to cancer, the city had become unbearable. Every street, every cafe, every song a ghost. So he sold their Seattle home, packed her favorite books, her garden, gloves, and drove north to the cedar cabin his grandfather built in 1952. Nestled on a private cove of Black Pine Lake, it had no Wi-Fi, no neighbors in sight, just the call of loons and the scent of pine after rain. The Lakeview Ridge HOA collected $300 a month for road upkeep and community standards. Ezra paid on time. He kept his lawn trimmed, his wood piles stacked, his truck clean. But Victoria noticed him. She was in her late 50s, always in a tailored cream blazer, hair pulled into a tight bun, clipboard in hand like a badge of authority. She ruled the HOA with iron precision, meetings like court sessions, fines issued like royal decrees. Within weeks, Ezra got his first notice. Unapproved flagpole, violates Section 4.2b, remove within 14 days or face $150 daily fine. He removed it. Then, excessive bird feeders attract wildlife, removal required. He complied, but the fines kept coming. $75 for non-regulation mailbox color, $120 for unapproved stone edging, each signed Victoria, President. Lakeview Ridge HOA. Ezra wasn't angry, not yet. He was confused. Why was she targeting him? Then, one icy morning, he returned from town to find his gate chained shut. No warning. No hearing, just a red tag and a cold steel lock. That's when he knew this wasn't about rules. It was about land. And he wasn't just a resident. He was the last living heir to the Black Pine Narrows Bridge, the only dry land access into the community. His grandfather had bought it in 1978 after a flood destroyed the old road. The deed was in Ezra's name. And if Victoria wanted war, she had no idea who she was fighting. Ezra stood at the chain, gripping the frost-covered metal. He snapped a photo, then drove straight to the HOA lodge, a 2-story chalet with a stone chimney and a sign, Lakeview Ridge, Excellence in Community Living. Inside, Victoria sat behind a polished desk, speaking into a headset. She didn't look up. "You're trespassing," she said. "I live here," Ezra replied. "Not until you resolve your violations." "What violations? I've fixed everything." She slid a folder across the desk. 5 new notices. Unapproved solar panel mount. Unregistered dog, though I see no dog. And failure to attend the mandatory landscape review. Ezra stared. "I didn't get any of these." "They were mailed." "To a mailbox you sealed me out of." Victoria smirked. "Procedural compliance is your responsibility." He pulled out his phone, showed her the cabin. No solar panels, no dog, no changes. "This is harassment. We enforce the rules," she said coolly. "Equally." As he turned to leave, a janitor whispered, "She's been after that land for years. Wants to build luxury cabins. Sell the view. Ezra froze. That night he dug through his grandfather's old files, yellowed deeds, land surveys, legal transfers. And there it was, a 1978 county land grant, after a flood destroyed the original. Access Road, the county sold the Black Pine Narrows Bridge, the only dry land route into the community, to private ownership. His grandfather bought it, and in his will, he left it, and the deed, to Ezra. He wasn't just a resident. He was the gatekeeper, and if Victoria wanted war, he'd make sure she lost more than just a fight. The fines came daily now, $150 for excessive wood smoke, $200 for unapproved chimney cap, $75 for failure to install security lighting. Ezra's mailbox overflowed with red-stamped notices, all signed by Victoria. He tried appealing, submitted photos, cited code exceptions. The board voted, 4-1, to uphold every fine. Victoria smiled as she read the decision aloud. Then came the drone. It hovered over his cabin every afternoon, buzzing like a wasp, recording every move. When Ezra confronted the HOA, they claimed it was surveillance for compliance verification. He called a lawyer. Without evidence of malice or collusion, there's little you can do, the attorney said. But Ezra wasn't done. He installed his own cameras, high-res, night vision, cloud-backed. He filmed the drone. He filmed Victoria's car circling his property at dawn. He filmed her meeting with a real estate developer in a diner parking lot. 2 men in suits, a folder labeled Black Pine Luxury Parcel, Phase 1. One night he walked the bridge, flashlight in hand, boots crunching on gravel. The structure was old but solid, steel beams, wooden planks, anchored deep into the rock. He found something strange. Fresh drill marks near the support beams. Someone had been inspecting it or sabotaging it. He took photos, sent them to the county engineer. Reply, no HOA permit for structural inspection. Report filed. Ezra now had 2 weapons, the deed to the bridge and evidence of illegal activity. But Victoria wasn't backing down. 2 days later, sheriff's deputies arrived. Court order, one said. HOA claims your property poses a safety hazard. We're conducting an inspection. Ezra stood in the doorway, calm. You'll need a warrant. They left, but the message was clear. Victoria would stop at nothing, so neither would he. The next morning, a bulldozer arrived. It rumbled up the access road, escorted by 2 HOA security trucks. Ezra stood on his porch, coffee in hand, watching. The operator idled near his stone path, the one they claimed was unapproved. Victoria stepped out, flanked by board members. This ends today, she announced. We're removing all non-compliant structures. Ezra walked down slowly. You don't have a court order. We have a board vote and a contractor. And I have cameras rolling, a live stream going, and a call into the county sheriff. A small crowd had gathered, neighbors drawn by the noise. You're violating due process, one man shouted. Victoria ignored him. Begin, she told the operator. The blade lowered. Ezra stepped forward. I own the bridge, he said, loud enough for all to hear. Every inch of it. And if that machine moves 1 stone on my property, I'm closing it. No one gets in. No one gets out. Not even you. Gasps spread through the crowd. You can't do that, Victoria snapped. I can. The deed's registered with the county. I'll send you a copy. She hesitated. The operator paused. Then, from the back, a woman called out, Wait, that mean she's been charging us for road access, but doesn't even own the bridge? Murmurs grew. Victoria turned red. This is a private matter. No, Ezra said. It's a public one. That night, he uploaded everything. The deed, the fines, the drone footage, the meeting with the developer. By morning, it had 200,000 views. Local news picked it up. Then, the state attorney general's office, Victoria called, demanding he take it down. He replied, I'll take it down when you resign. She didn't, but she wouldn't have the chance. 3 days later, a forensic auditor arrived. Ezra had filed a formal complaint with the state. Suspicion of HOA financial misconduct. The auditor requested 10 years of records. Victoria refused. The court ordered compliance. What they found was staggering. Over 12 years, $3.2 million in resident fees had vanished, not spent, not invested, embezzled, transferred through shell companies, fake contractors, and offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands. Victoria had been siphoning funds since she took power, using the money to buy luxury cars, fund her daughter's private school, and finance the very development project she wanted to build on Ezra's land. Photos surfaced. Her at a villa in St. Lucia. Her son driving a Tesla paid for by road maintenance fees. Worse, she'd falsified safety reports claiming the bridge was structurally unsound to justify seizing it and building a new one under her control. Ezra handed over his footage. The secret meetings, the unauthorized drone, the illegal inspection marks on the bridge. It was all there. The county engineer confirmed the bridge was safe, one of the best maintained in the region. Ezra hadn't just defended his home. He'd exposed a multi-million-dollar fraud that had bled an entire community dry. Neighbors who once ignored him now left notes on his porch. "Thank you. We had no idea. You saved us." Even the sheriff shook his hand. But Ezra didn't want praise. He wanted justice. And on a cold Thursday morning, as fog rolled over the lake, federal agents arrived at Victoria's door. Handcuffs clicked. A press release followed. HOA president, arrested for fraud, embezzlement, and abuse of power. The video hit 1 million views by noon, but Ezra wasn't done. He had one final move. The special HOA meeting was packed. Residents filled the lodge. Some angry, some ashamed, all stunned. Ezra stood at the front, not as a victim, but as a witness. He played the footage. Victoria's lies, the fake invoices, the offshore transfers. He showed the bridge inspection report, safe for 25-plus years. He revealed the developer's proposal, 18 luxury cabins, 2.5 million in profits, all funded by stolen fees. Silence fell, then applause, then shouts of, "Resign!" The remaining board members stepped down on the spot. Ezra turned to the crowd. "The bridge is mine," he said. "But it doesn't have to be a weapon. It can be a solution." He proposed a plan. Sell the bridge, not to a developer, but to the community, at fair market value, with a 10-year payment plan, no interest. All future access fees would go into a transparent, audited fund, managed by elected residents. No more secret accounts. No more unchecked power. The vote was unanimous. Applause thundered. But one voice cut through. "And the gate?" Ezra smiled. "It's open." The next morning, he removed the chain. He installed a new sign. "Welcome to Black Pine. Access restored." Below it, a smaller plaque, in memory of Clara, who loved this place most. The community began rebuilding. Trust. New bylaws were drafted. An oversight committee formed, and for the first time in years, the lodge hosted a potluck, not out of obligation, but out of unity. Ezra didn't speak. He just sat by the fire, watching the stars. Finally, at peace. 1 year later, the bridge was officially transferred. The community paid off 40% up front, the rest over time. A digital ledger tracked every dollar. Public, real-time, secure. The HOA was renamed Black Pine Lake Stewards. No more president, no more dictators. Just a rotating council elected annually. Ezra wasn't on it. He didn't want power. He wanted balance. He reopened his small farm stand, Ezra Dean's Harvest, selling honey, herbs, and vegetables. Kids stopped by after school. Elders sat on his bench. He even hosted a summer concert on the lawn. Acoustic music, lemonade, fireflies. Victoria was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. No parole. At her hearing, she said, "I was doing what I thought was best. The I." Judge replied, Best for whom? Ezra never gloated, but when a reporter asked, was it worth it? He looked at the lake, the trees, the bridge lit by moonlight. Yes, he said. It was about more than land. It was about truth. Now, when new residents arrive, they're told two things. 1, respect the rules. 2, never underestimate the quiet man with the deed. And every spring, on the anniversary of the gate's reopening, the community gathers, not for protest, not for power, for peace, for justice, for the man who held the bridge and gave it back.